Welcome to the video. Hope you're all doing well. Listen, if you haven't subscribed or you're not a subscriber, think about subscribing because it's all for charity. Macmillan Cancer, Help the Heroes and Shelter UK. It's all the ad revenue goes to those charities. So that's what we're doing. We're primarily a golf channel. Been on a journey for a few years on YouTube actually. I've lost count how long, but it's a while. I was checking my Google account the other day there and wow, it's been a long time. And I don't know if you've watched this film, but I've always liked Clint Eastwood, and obviously Clint Eastwood's been going for many years, and now he's not only an actor but he directs films as well. He directed a lot of good films, and he's been in a lot of good films lately. The Mule and things like that, and there's a new one coming out. But the one I want to talk about that I've now watched about 4 or 5 times is Gran Torino. It was on the television a few nights back, and I watched it again, and I was watching it in awe because it's taken a while to work out what that film was actually trying to say. And I wanted just quickly to say that I thought the whole thing, when it all did click, was masterful. And Gran Torino is basically, it's got so many things going on in the film, but obviously Clint Eastwood plays this retired war veteran, and he's well decorated, so he's been and seen and done horrific things. He talks about them briefly in the film. Main characters are a Catholic priest. He obviously loses his wife. There's a funeral. There's a new set of neighbours that moves into the neighbourhood where he lives, which is clearly becoming, as they try and hint in the film, run down or not as good as it used to be. And there's loads of things running in the film that are in the background and not really discussed, which is the genius of the film, because it asks you questions. But anyone who watches this film once and completely gets it in one go is doing good, because after 3 or 4, possibly 5 viewings, you start to see what was actually the vision of the film. And if you hang about that long and watch it a number of times, you realise that it's actually a snapshot or a look at life and how we as human beings are completely hopeless at communication and talking about emotions and things that are happening in our lives, especially to those that we love and hold dear. And we can go an entire lifetime without saying what we mean or talking about things until it's too late. And there's various points in the film where this is highlighted in a subtle but genius way. The family that moves in next door happens to be like a family that brings back memories of his days in the Second World War, and he's automatically got this kind of perceived hatred's the wrong word, but it maybe is actually to begin with, of the people. And then the clever bit in the film is that he gets to know these people and he helps them, and it revolves around obviously the name of the film, which is Gran Torino. He owns one. It's a classic car and it's immaculate. And there's just so much in the film that you need to watch it. But the point and the thing is that his own family is up and left, and he's on his own. He's lost his wife, and the fact that he gives off this persona, and he's a hard man. He's been used to being very set in his own ways, and the point in the film that really got me was the fact that he reaches out to his own family after he gets some bad news about his diagnosis from the doctors, because he's clearly not well through the film. And you can see his son on the other end of the phone at the table, clearly struggling over a financial situation that he's trying to balance the books, he's trying to work on things. The family's round about him or in the same room. And he is just trying to balance probably his accounts for the month. And his dad's asking him, you know, how's things? How's the family? Obviously, you know, they have lost touch, so this is like him trying to touch base again and trying to reach out to them. But the family is so used to him not being in touch that they just say everything's fine, 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 fine. Everything's great, when clearly everything isn't great. You can see that it's not great. Things are not good. And this basically, excuse me, this basically is the premise of the film, where you're lost in a sort of bind where you can't meet or talk about things, and it turns round by him hanging up the phone, and at this point he's been getting closer to the people that at first he didn't want to know, that moved on next door. The son is helping him with jobs and going out and helping, and he's obviously, there's a lot more to this film. There's at least 4 or 5 different angles this film comes from, so it's actually highly intelligent all the way through it. There are some laughs, and there are some what some people would term racist kind of looks at life, and also how it all changes once you get to know people rather than just what they look like. You know, it's a very, very clever film. I would rate it as probably one of Clint Eastwood's best films that I've seen. And it takes so much to watch. It's a hard watch in places. And obviously the way it's filmed as well, the way it's filmed, it's quite close and it's quite claustrophobic in places. It's well done. But there's another part in the film it's a good point. The young lad from the next door house who comes over to borrow some tools has a look in his garage and can't believe how many tools he's got. He must have like every single tool known to man. And he asks him about it. And he says, well, he says, I didn't just go out and buy these all in a winner. I accumulated these. I accumulated all of these tools, and it's taken me 50 plus years to do it. The young lad says, well, I can't afford all this, you know, and how am I going to? And he says, well, you need to chip away at it, and you need to buy your tools slowly, and as you require them and as you get moving on, you keep a hold of them. And like he's sort of suggesting, it's taken him his whole life to accumulate all of these tools. And obviously he's reflecting on that himself, but he doesn't let on, but he knows he's coming to the end of his life. And this is what he's got, you know. Can he take all these with him? So there's loads of like things in this film. It's well worth a watch and a rewatch, because it's teaching you life lessons at the same time as being entertainment. And it's a bit life, like life. It unfolds in front of you, but at the time you don't learn much. And then coming to the end, you kind of start getting answers, which is great, because really some people and a lot of things in life you could do with answers earlier, and it seems to be at the end that you start getting all the answers, which is just life, innit? But, I hope you've enjoyed this wee look at Gran Torino. I know it's unusual for a golf channel to be talking about a film that you should go and watch, but it's coming up for Christmas. The weather is not great. It's middle of winter. Travel restrictions are coming in again. All of us are not playing as much golf. And when you do play golf, okay, you go and enjoy it. But any more than once a week in the winter is really kind of, you're like a masochist, aren't you? You're going out on these courses and they're trudgy with wet, muddy, heavy lies and cold and rain and wind. And yeah, you can say, yeah, it's a challenge and I love the challenge and I go out and I play, but it's questionable if you're actually learning anything or if you're just completely hammering your own body for just a fantasy of, yeah, I could be, yeah, you could be sitting with coffee in the clubhouse and reading the paper and chatting to folk in the club and probably getting more out of that than walking around the course in, let's say, less than good conditions. Anywho, it's something to keep in mind because you're still supporting your club by going up on a Saturday or Sunday morning and having a cup of coffee, a bacon roll, a read of the paper, a chat with whoever's there. Keeps you motivated, keeps you in contact with people, which is probably more important than anything now. The human touch is something that we all require and should not be overlooked. Anyway, thanks for watching and I hope you've enjoyed this. And hey, listen, Clint Eastwood, Gran Torino, absolutely worth a watch. Most intelligent film, and it really does teach some good life lessons in it.